Welcome to The Watching Dead, the officially unofficial podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron.
And today we're talking about Season 11, Episode 7, titled Promises Broken. That's ominous, considering promises were made this episode. That seems like a bad future for these promises. Aaron, what'd you think of this episode?
I think I really liked this episode. I thought that the moral dilemmas that they put to the Reapers and kind of pinched Leah and Daryl in were interesting. I thought the stuff I wasn't a fan of how we got to this Maggie and Negan situation, but like it's played out right now as if it had gone the way I'd wanted it to, so I can kind of forget some of those missteps. I thought that stuff was pretty good, like the analysis of the shifting morality, and Negan made some good points. The only thing I guess the only thing I didn't really like is I felt like maybe they're telling the Commonwealth is secretly evil story a little bit more abruptly. Like it doesn't feel like boiling the frog. It's like it's something like either part of the orientation should have been the caste system that everyone's operating under and like the state police kind of thing, you know. Or they should have, like I said, boiled the frogs a little bit more. But we'll see if that compression actually, you know, because it's clear to me that this is where they're going anyway. So like, I don't know how much throat clearing and shuffling I need them to do before they get to it. But that's the only concern I have. What did you think, Jim?
Yeah, I feel you on that Commonwealth stuff. It seems like there are a lot of unspoken rules inside the Commonwealth around the class system, and if you break them, the justice is swift and severe. And yeah, there was one line from Eugene, like, or from some other character to Eugene, don't you know who that is? And it's like, how the fuck should I know who this guy is? I've been here one day, you threw me in a prison camp. What do you want? Like, yeah, so there are a lot of around the edges problems for them, but overall, I liked the episode. I think, you know, I'm in the same boat as you. How they got here, maybe not great. There's still the giant elephant in the room of the coastline could solve every single problem they have with food. They're just not going to acknowledge it, right? They just can't at this point. Like in the writer's room, there's probably a big, shit moment where they realized, yeah, we just ignored the obvious possibility here. And now we can't mention it because if we do, it's an admission of guilt and we refuse. And actually AMC execs won't even let us because they refuse at this point.
Yeah, they're in their LA offices. They're like, guys, I just checked the map. Alexandria is like 10 miles from the ocean side, you know, the ocean side, that place that got destroyed. Turns out thousands of miles of coast, man. I don't know if we could destroy all of Oceanside. Yeah.
Right.
And with 99% of the world's population gone, the oceans are essentially have infinity fish. Yeah. So, but I don't know, maybe they broke all their fishing rods. People forgot how to tie knots. There's no way you form a net or tie a line to a pole and throw it. It's just fucking bleak.
They don't have any soccer
only
balls.
The blacksmith
to
only
turn
their
into
two blacksmiths had that technology.
Right. And now their only blacksmiths are lost in the woods or dead.
Yeah.
But
otherwise, of that, where the fuck is Boston Rob? How many nights has it been now? He had like half a bottle of water and a granola bar and gangrene setting in. What's going on with this guy? He's going to be a straight up zombie.
He's been drinking rainwater from the gutters, I'm sure. I don't know, man. We might come back. He'll just be a pile of bones. Like he'll have withered away to nothing. Hopefully he's able to kill himself before he turns. Otherwise they're going to have to put him down. And we saw what trouble they have with that this episode. So
yeah,
we'll see. But
get his face.
I mostly like the stuff they are doing with Negan and Maggie. I think their conversation here is a little strange. You have to understand it from like a certain point of view, right? Where Negan is trying to be honest with Maggie, but it's in the Negan way. It's in like kind of still a bit of an asshole. He's got a weird sense of humor that is a little darker than most people's, and maybe in this situation it's not the perfect tone to take with Maggie, but I don't know, that's Negan. And I kind of appreciate that they're keeping these characters, right? They're not changing Negan's personality. They're changing how he feels about his actions. And I like that.
Yeah, I'm still not sure I agree with like what Negan says. Like, yeah, if he's telling the truth or not. Like, I guess I was expecting him to come to different conclusions after all this time. I don't know if they're valid or invalid, but when we get to that conversation about like what he would have done different, I want to kind of dive into that because I was like, God damn, Negan, really? You know, you would have just killed everybody. You wouldn't have like maybe not done the baseball bat and barbed wire thing. Maybe like, treat new people with like suspicion, but not open hostility and slavery. Like,
yeah,
maybe there's a better way, big guy. I don't know.
I will say the probably biggest thing that is worrying me at this point is Gabriel is very close. He's dancing on the line of moralizing here at this point with his faith, with his relationship with God. He's been back and forth so many times. We saw the Terminator episode where he seemed to be over the line at that point. Like, okay, he's left this behind him. But then we get a guy praying this episode and he can't bring himself to take him out, even though he's clearly the enemy and has murdered a bunch of his friends. So I don't know if they keep this wishy-washy stuff with Gabriel, it might become a problem. It's already starting to become a problem for me, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm curious because I want to talk more about that scene as well.
Okay. Well, maybe we should get into the recap then.
Let's do it.
All right, we start off in the woods. Negan's trying to convince the group that continuing their mission is suicide, which of course we all agree with, except for Maggie, who still wants to go. She says, look, you're free to go. Be a self-serving asshole like you've always been. But he'll help if she promises that that's it for their dispute. They are even after this. And they shake on it. And then a walker that they knew comes up. Apparently it's Casey Jones' sister's friend. They really complicate this relationship. And then more come walking up behind it. And that gives Maggie an idea. And they go off to find more of them.
Yeah. I like the appearance of anti-stealth zombies, like zombies that were heard by everyone well before they're seen on the frame. You know, they're these respectfully announcing their presence with their moaning and their rasping.
Yeah.
But I like this. Like, there's a couple things. Like, I was trying to think. I think Negan scrupulously always kept to his word, right? It seemed like if anything was Rick that was double dealing and backstabbing and breaking the terms. Now the terms of the agreement were horrifying. So I'm not, certainly not saying Rick was bad for doing that, but I think that meant something. Like, you know, Negan had an unconventional moral framework for his society, but he did do the things that he said he was going to do, both good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I agree with that.
And I think Maggie knows that and takes this seriously.
And I like the kind of way that Negan plays this handshake here, because he's kind of playing the rest of the group, not against Maggie, but like relying on the rest of the group to keep Maggie honest, when she shakes his hand and promises, because he's like, she asked him, like, you would take a promise from me? He's like, we all would, right? You have a reputation for being honest, so you're not going to break that reputation by going back on our agreement, are you? In front of the priest, in front of Casey Jones? No. I like that.
And him having that consistent, like, this is suicide, this is suicide, this is suicide. As it gets more and more like that, I think he has started to get people like, like Gabriel's still carrying Maggie's water because, there's a lot of truth to that. Like, look, we don't have any food. I don't want to go back to my family with no food.
Yeah.
But do they have to do it Maggie's way, where they just literally walk into the jaws of the lions? Do they have to throw themselves into the teeth of the tiger or whatever? I think that's where the inroads in the group are starting to be made.
Yeah,
because there was a little hesitation before Gabriel backed Maggie, for sure.
Yeah. And then also she's saying we'll never be even right before she makes this promise that they're even. I don't know how to read that. Do you have any insight on we will never be even, and then handshake? Yes, if you do this, we're even.
Well, I think that there is we're even and we're good, which means
I won't try and kill you versus I still hate you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like, we're not even, nothing you can do can make up for beating my husband's brains in, you asshole. But like, I can rescind the death wish on you. Like, okay. I don't have to kill you in your sleep. Like, I think that's the distinction. Okay. At least that's what I took it.
Makes sense.
For.
All right, then we go over to Eugene and Stephanie clearing a house. They're seemingly in a work camp here. Eugene asks if Hornsby can be trusted. Stephanie says, sure. Zeke and Princess are clearing a house too. Zeke's neck bulge is acting up. And Princess asks Stephanie if she can get him a doctor. And she says, yeah, and then runs off. And then some truly, truly overprivileged schmucks walk by and comment on the smell, the horrible smell of the place.
Where the nasties are working. He wasn't talking about the walkers. He was talking about the workers.
I assume, yeah.
This guy, oh my God, all-time punchable face. This guy's rocketing to the top right there with Joffrey Baratheon for like, I can't wait for this guy to get taken down a peg and or eaten by a zombie. Holy fuck.
Yeah. The ultimate shitty teen. I don't know. Yeah. Is he a teen? He looks like he's 27.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the teen bullies of Judith are a little bit up higher on my hatred list. But if he bullies Judith, then he's lowest circle of hell as far as I'm concerned,
for sure.
But yeah, they're like, you know, there's a lot of this going on in the episode. Like people being like, so if we do this, we'll get freed, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much, you know. And they're all putting this trust in this openly slimy guy with the name of Lance Hornsby.
Yeah,
that's a name you do not trust.
No,
Lance Hornsby. It's the opposite of a name you can trust. So, I don't know. They could be doing this like, you know, never non-committal days, weeks, months. I like it. I like how that the group doesn't, you know, tries to keep Ezekiel from working himself to death, and there's that line about, you know, it's like, what if our servitude increases? And she's like, I've never been afraid of hard work, but I am anti friends dying from stubbornness. I thought that was a good line from Princess. First time we've ever seen Princess without her like pink teddy bear jacket too.
Right. Yeah, she's in what I can only call prison fatigues.
Sleeveless prison fatigues. So let me ask you something about the nature of this punishment. Mm-hmm. Is this a quasi-death sentence? Because I don't understand why they're sent out there as sleeveless jumpsuits and poles.
Right.
Maybe you don't send them out there with bullets, but like send them out there with a suit of armor and a spear or something.
My only guess on this is that they don't want an uprising. And if they were to send them out with decent weapons and armor, they'd be much harder to keep in line.
But do they have guns that work? Maybe they don't. Yeah. Maybe this like maybe they don't have as many bullets as they do, and that's like. But like, yeah, I feel like you got a rifle and body armor, and the other guys just got a body armor. Well, the rifle guy's winning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, again, don't give him a rifle, but you put him in that body armor with a spear, and they can clear all day, all night, and not have to. But it felt a little bit like maybe it's a bit of a death sentence.
Yeah, or they at least don't care if they die very much.
Yeah, like they're if it's not explicitly a death sentence, but if you get bit, you get bit. You know, can't do the time, don't do the crime philosophy.
Right. Yeah, and I have more questions about that later. But for now, we go to Yumiko, who is talking with someone from the State Department who seems eager to get her on Pamela Milton's legal team. She says, look, I'm not staying long, and my friends aren't either. I want to see them. What's up? That doesn't work, so she demands instead to see Pamela Milton.
Well, that's interesting. The way this office is designed, it's manifestly nice. You know, it's big, it's got lots of wood, and it's brightly lit, but there's also something cheap to it, and I'm not sure if that's because Walking Dead's a cheap show, or they're showing there's a little bit of artificiality, like all the plants are fake. The decor is kind of dated, and maybe too much of it for the size of the room. Like if you got a 10 by 10 bedroom, do you really want a king size bed in there? Like there's a little bit of I don't know. So I think it's a deliberate choice to show that that it's not all, you know. When she asked her brother, "Is this as good as it seems?" He says, "Better." maybe not. They're really holding that front. They're really holding that front.
Yeah, I don't know. As much as I see, like, it's not. I don't know. There's a prison aspect to this, like a work camp sort of thing with Eugene and all them. And there's Yumiko, who I'm getting is very much like some kind of indentured servant here. You know, like the price for your freedom is you do what the hell we tell you to do, and
right,
that's it. You have no say in this. But we don't get to find out this episode because they keep delaying things, right? Like that's I don't know. They go for cheap thrills and delaying kind of things that we know we want to see. Like I want to see this meeting with Pamela Milton. I want to get to a glimpse into what's going on at the top of the government here. And also I feel like it's super cheap thrills to come in and snatch her brother away from her at some point in this episode. It's like, okay, you didn't tell us anything. You didn't tell us why he's being snatched. You didn't tell us any of that stuff. And I don't know. It's not my favorite part of the show.
This Lance Hornsby guy, like he's got remote objections about, like, you know, he's got a timetable he's trying to hit. So it's like, you're wondering like what. Yeah, I kept on. That's the thing. It's like, I don't know what's in it for him. I don't know whether he's like the shadow government,
future
secretly
favors.
Running things.
Yeah.
Yeah, he trades for favors, which that kind of makes sense. But on the other hand, you know, what does he need from like Yumiko's going to go rocket to the top and he's going to have a favor right? It just seems like it's weird for me to think of, because this has got to be a long-term play. Mm-hmm. Like years from now, this is The Godfather. You know, there may come a day and that day may never come. Yeah. But like this world, I don't know, maybe I'm just not used to thinking in terms of like banking a favor that could be something that is paid back years from a time, the stability. But I don't know. Yeah. It feels like at some point, maybe now's the time to talk about the fake Stephanie shit.
Okay.
We were going to keep this kind of like, you know, to ourselves, but like it is like people are just discussing this in all the forums and stuff as if it is a fact of life. It is a fact of life. There's big hints in it this episode. And the thing is, it's to the point that like I think reasonable people would start to speculate on things. So we might as well say this woman who's identifying as Stephanie is not the same actor that he was that Eugene was talking with over the radio. Mm-hmm. That's been confirmed by the actor that plays Eugene and by the AMC credits. And in fact, 2 weeks ago, AMC on their press site accidentally had a caption where they identified the Stephanie he was walking around with on in the Commonwealth as decoy Stephanie. Mm-hmm. So that theory is kind of like here nor there. And there's a bunch, like I said, there's been a bunch of hints of this. We talked about how awkward the ice cream exchange is. Apparently that's because one of the things we saw that him and Stephanie bonded over is their love of ice cream, and her favorite was Rocky Road. And she did not order Rocky Road. Now, that's not a smoking gun, but it's something that Eugene noticed. Also, the lady that came to get the dozen cones for the State Department did have a Rocky Road that was remarked upon. And she kind of like, so the idea is that lady that we meet in the State Department later on is the real Stephanie. So if you start putting some of these things together, it's almost like this Hornsby character lured these people out for a particular reason. Now, maybe it's just to annex Alexandria, but like there's a lot more wheels spinning, and I'm a little bit losing patience with the show keeping all this plotting behind, you know, away from us. You know, like we have no idea what the motivations and whatnot of these characters. Yumiko should start demanding answers. We should get them pretty soon. But like, I
that's why I was so annoyed by the cancellation of the meeting this time, because it just seems like a delaying tactic. And at this point, we've got 1 week until the end of the season. I groan,
but also makes sense because now we see how things are connected in a way. So I was getting a little bit of information. She's like, well, it's canceled because your son got attacked. Oh shit, that's who they attacked. The Sebastian guy is the son of the big honcho. So, but yeah, I would like for them to put the pedal to the metal a little bit on the storyline.
The scene giveth and the scene taketh away. Apparently.
Especially when you're going to be this blatant about the other stuff. Right. That, you know, if you're not going to like slowly, then yeah, let's get to it, you know?
Maybe I'm just impatient for this show to be over. I don't know. It's like I said, we got one more episode until this portion of the season is over.
Right.
They can't really make a ton of progress in one episode, can they? I mean, we might get some information. We might get a meeting with Pamela.
I think
hopefully.
revealing Pamela, I think it's not unfair to expect a resolution to the Reaper plotline, although that's starting to feel like this might all end up in a cliffhanger, you know?
Maybe. I mean, they're definitely building to that. The Walker horde that they're wrangling, I would say, is approaching enough to give them some trouble.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So,
but
or to cause enough chaos for them to then sneak in behind and gank some fools.
Right. And it wasn't nearly the numerical advantage I thought it was. They got like twice as many people and walls, so you got the defensive plus, but they got a pretty sizable zombie herd.
And they're no cold roll
16
walls.
People. Right.
They look like just wooden walls. Not gonna cut it. All right. Speaking of the Reapers, Daryl spots the pantry in Meridian as it's being locked up, and it's loaded. It's got greens for days.
It's substantial. You can make quite the stone soup out of that garage.
Yeah. Just add a pinch of rat and you're good to go. He offers the guy a cigarette, and then they hear some commotion outside, which we kind of transition over to. Anything you want to talk about with the pantry, or should we get into that scene?
No, Daryl noticed it. Daryl sees it's there. It's good.
It's substantial. Real. And it's spectacular. Gabriel prays over Casey Jones' sister's friend's grave. God, that's a lot of modifiers here. With walkers all around, tied to trees. Casey Jones, I think, wants to kill Pope, or maybe just the one that killed his sister, or this girl, his sister's friend. I don't know. Probably Pope. Maggie gives Gabriel some binoculars, sends him off on a mission to scout out the Meridian, and then if he has an opportunity to kill a Reaper, if it's just a single Reaper and they're alone and he's got the drop, keep that in mind. And then Negan has a little bit of fun making skin masks from the tree walkers.
It's not fun. Not with that attitude, Maggie.
This is what I was talking about with Negan. Like, his personality hasn't changed, right? He's still got this dark sense of humor. Like, yeah, it's great.
Right. I saw people in the Walking Dead subreddit saying that, Casey Jones is, which, by the way, he's just abandoned the Casey Jones aspect of his character. No more masks. Nobody wears any masks unless you're a minor character.
The hell, man.
This thing, it's crazy. Lauren Cohen's like, what the fuck? I'm back. I'm wearing a zombie mask, and these people can't wear hockey masks. What the hell? But a lot of people are saying that he said he's mine. Okay. And they're like, well, that means it can't be Aaliyah that he wants revenge on. But I'm like, these people wear masks. Are we 100% sure that in a massacre situation that he just wouldn't mistake and say he, because maybe Casey Jones slightly sexist?
Sure.
I just assumes anyone killing people in the zombie apocalypse is a man. Like, I with everyone wearing masks, I think gives enough ambiguity that, like, I'm not 100% sure that there won't be a situation where, Casey Jones wants a demand for justice that's going to put him on the wrong side of Daryl. Yeah, is what I think I'm kind of worried about. Because if he wants to kill Pope or Carver or whoever the hell, Daryl's going to be like, yeah, be my guest, man. But like, I think Leah is going to be he's not going to let it happen. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Could be an interesting conflict. So the patrol returns to Meridian. They've had no success finding any of the dozens of people that are apparently tromping around in the woods outside. He's pissed that they couldn't find him. And Leah steps in to take the blame and almost gets some wrath as a side dish. But she is able to, weather that storm. And then Pope tells her to take Daryl out and go find his enemies. Is this a bad idea if you're Pope? I guess what the show is trying to tell me is that he fully trusts Daryl at this point, right?
But that's not what the other episode told me.
I know. At the end of the last episode said he is going to fuck with Daryl for a while to try and figure out his allegiances.
But fuck with Daryl doesn't necessarily mean you don't trust him. Like as he's walking away, you'd be, look at that fucker. He's sweating bullets, man. He thinks I'm medium suspect him. He's such a yeah. It's just let's just keep busting his balls, man. I don't know. Because he's sending, but maybe he doesn't trust Leah either. And this is like some kind of big, but like. You have to send a third party that you do trust. Like if you don't trust Daryl and you don't trust Leah, sending them out together on some kind of fucking mission is not a way to test the trust. It's he's doing
one half of the trust but verify strategy.
Right.
It doesn't work with one half.
It's like, when you're playing Secret Hitler and one of the people you think is a fascist, it's like, well, I'll check the guy's party loyalty card. Okay, yeah, this is great. Yeah, like Leah and Daryl, like, no, we're 100% legit for you, Pope. Like, it doesn't work that way. You need the trust but verify. I don't know what they're doing, but the other thing is, like, you could always just say that like Pope's crazy. It's not a very satisfying answer, but I think it works. Like,
they want him to be very smart, though, right? Like they want him to be a cunning opponent for the rest of them. But I don't know if it's going to matter if they come marching up to the gates with 1,000 walkers next episode. He can be as cunning as he wants, but he's got to fight an army of the dead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I don't think they're mutually like crazy and cunning. Like look at Alpha. She was both. Sure. Yeah. She had like major flaws in her worldview that were ultimately going to make her lose, but she could still like tactically be brilliant. I kind of think I think Pope is the same way. Pope needs his toke up and chill out. But I think he is like, he's got this religious fervor, but he also is probably capable at whipping ass tactically if he needs to.
He's really putting a lot of faith in his fire test because like he's taken the bait hook, line, and sinker of Daryl. I mean, Daryl has proven his loyalty to the point where he's sending him out on missions with Leah alone. And he's buying the fact that there are just dozens of enemies outside the gates. I laughed out loud when he said, how can we not find dozens of people running around outside? Yeah, he's taken him at face value. So,
yeah. And this is another part. They're telling this story pretty effectively where it's like everything's from your own point of view, right? Like Daryl saying, you got a good place here, must have a good story behind it. And they're all acting what they think is rationally. Like, they found this group, they ran them off. They need to kill them all because what if they come back? Why we relax, Mm-hmm. This is Rick taking over the prison. This is Rick taking over Alexandria. This is what
Negan says he should have done later in the episode.
It's what Negan is talking about, the saviors. Yeah, they're doing this really good, like kind of morally gray thing of asking the audience, like, well, what is the difference between what they're doing versus what some of our heroes have done? Mm-hmm. And if our heroes could grow beyond it and have this community compact and start cooperating, maybe everyone can. I like that. It's like I said, these interesting ethical moral quandaries, far more interesting than like the moralizing we've seen from seasons past. And I don't mind them indulging in more of it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Daryl and Leah walk and talk about Meridian. She tells him he doesn't understand what it's like to live in a small town, which made me laugh. And how Pope has made her stronger, and Daryl plays it totally cool.
That you needed that. Yeah, it's I kind of agree. She's given Pope way too much credit and herself way too little.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Daryl's doing all the stuff to like plant the seeds of, hey, you don't need Pope, right?
Yeah, and people that, are abusers and manipulators are very good at that. Like we saw with the Whisperers and Alpha, how she used like, praise and criticism as ways to keep people under her thumb. And clearly Pope's doing the same thing.
It seems like Daryl's playing a little bit of that game here too, but for good, right?
Kind of break that spell instead. Yeah, he's dishonestly he's being dishonest with her, which means automatically he's manipulating her. Sure.
Yeah. Then we go back to Maggie doing her best walker impersonation while Negan coaches her on how to herd these walkers. She manages to get a walker to follow her until she trips on a rock, and the gang has to step in and save her. And then Negan tells her she did good.
Yeah, this is cool. They're not really explaining the sweet science of walker herding, but I dig it. Like there is a technique you can like learn how, like, when is the right, Because it's wild to me, like if you stumble, the zombies are gonna bite you. But like, don't zombies like trip and fall pretty much all the time? Like we've seen the famed zombie waterfalls. I don't think they look where they're going. But also sometimes, it's cool when you can just peel off from the group, at double, triple time, and the zombies don't follow you, right?
Right. Like you start peeling boards off a wall, yeah.
Yeah. So like but there's just enough in the show's history to show. Like I also thought it was weird that like you got like a couple of ropes around the zombie pin, and then you can just start cooking rabbits in front of them and acting all human and smelling like human, and they're just going to be over there like, oh. But like, I don't know, because we also know that zombies can get like a kind of a learned helplessness if you like take their arms and teeth. So like there is, or like there's some kind of catatonic state you can put a zombie in by getting it to walk in a circle that they maybe get distracted. Like they're walking the right line between not explaining enough and giving me just enough to like, okay, I guess I can see how that works. How's the zombie herding treating you, Jim?
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm just entertained by Negan standing back here watching Maggie try and do the thing that he was learning last season. Right. And he's just enjoying it, right? He's living it up.
And the POV walker, the POV mask shots, like where she's initially wearing this ill-fitting mask, you can barely see out of it, she's tripping. I thought that was fun. Although I have in my notes, my God, how much time is this taking? Because Boston Rob, man, are they gonna Heath this motherfucker? Is this gonna be like Gendry Baratheon? Like he's gonna show up in the final 3 episodes of season 11C and save the day because
battle hammer or whatever, war axe.
Yeah, they gave him like half a bottle of water and a granola bar and be like, hey, we'll be right back. And it's been, I think, 2 days. And Negan kind of like, how long does it take you to teach how to walk with a zombie? How long does it take to make a mask? Make alterations to that mask? They're just like, they act like they have all the time in the world, and Alden is like bleeding to death in some fucking cursed chapel.
Right. Gabriel's probably bleeding to death. He's walking on a leg that's been stabbed, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I saw him in the background. He's doing the limp, so at least the actor is still concerned with that, even if the show is not.
100%.
But you're right. There's a lot of time being, let's say, used. I don't think it's wasted here, right? This is a much better plan than just running up to the gates and trying to shoot people. But
yeah, it has a chance of succeeding. Yes.
Yeah. And if you had asked me last episode, is there any way that they're going to be able to actually succeed in this mission, I would have said, fuck no. They got 4 people, one on the inside, sure, but against these people, no, definitely not. I'd forgotten that, we have an excellent Walker Whisperer in the group. So this is kind of a cool solution to what I saw as a huge problem in this clear suicide mission.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't know, maybe it didn't seem like any of the threads I was looking at, people were calling bullshit on it, but like I was a little bit worried, or like, are people going to go along with just doing the whisperer shit but for good? And like, I guess I did. Yeah, I'm like, I didn't expect them to. Yeah, like this is essentially advanced wearing guts. It's guts wearing 202. So I dug it. I went along with it, no questions asked.
How do they, what do you think? Do they peel the skin off these walkers? Do they like hose out the inside, or is it just covered in like coagulated walker
because it's
blood?
Weird because when Laura Cohen is wearing this mask, they got like dark, they darkened her eyes and she's got like black lipstick on, but then like as soon as she takes the mask off, it's just Lauren Cohen made up to look like she's not wearing makeup. Right. And I don't think they did the Alpha, because Alpha, when she took her shit off, she was pretty grody under there,
Yeah, she's still in the dark eyes and everything.
Maggie Green must be cute. It's written into the contract apparently.
Okay, Gabriel scouts Meridian and he sees a Reaper he might be able to pick off and follows him to a graveyard, but the Reaper starts praying and Gabriel can't bring himself to take him out.
Yeah, it's this warrior monk guy literally prancing. Did you notice this? He's kind of prancing.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a weird gait. Okay. Whispering scriptures. I thought it's interesting. Like Gabe kind of looks at him like, Jacques, a man of God working for the bad people. like he's going to investigate, and then he hears. So okay, is there any way that this guy actually was aware of Gabriel?
I don't think so.
Because he prays for his for God's guidance and conversation and confidence. Is there anything I should know? Then he gets up, looks directly at Gabriel, and says, "Thank you, Father." No chance?
Think this is just The Walking Dead being The Walking Dead. Like, they're not going to be super concerned with camera angles and where people are looking and sight lines and what's between you and another character. They just want to get the shot they want to get.
Well, shouldn't this be a shot in Gabriel's arm? Because, like, if he believes in God and this guy's beseeching God and God doesn't answer his prayer, doesn't that kind of like by proxy answer Gabriel's prayer to not be murdered here?
I guess. I don't know. It's all very confused with Gabriel at this point. I thought he had gotten beyond the God. I thought he thought God was dead.
Yeah. Why would he have trouble killing this guy?
I don't,
because he's a man of God. What does that even mean with this group?
Yeah. I mean, what does it mean to Gabriel anymore?
Especially since he lied to Maggie. Because that's one thing if you just like choked for whatever reason or what. But then like when Maggie said, "Did you see anybody?" He's like, "No." Well, that's a lot. That's information that's probably going to be important to their plan, man. You got to tell people that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I didn't care much for it. Another scene I didn't exactly care for, or another thing I didn't exactly care for. Yumiko keeps trying to pressure her brother to be a doctor again, and he has had enough. He makes her promise not to tell anyone that he's a doctor because that would change the way that things are, and he likes the way things are. Suddenly, he's grabbed by security and dragged off. I assume they're monitoring his conversation with her somehow.
Oh, see, I just thought that this was this guy reacting to her trying to charge ahead in line. Like, oh, you think you can go off of my timetable? I'm black bagging your brother. I don't think it had anything to do with what they're talking about.
Got him?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I understood from their conversation.
Okay. Yeah, that could be true.
We'll get to why I suspect that later on.
Okay.
But this conversation about like, he's like, it's essentially what we said. So we were right in almost all of our suppositions that this guy is hiding the fact that he is a doctor because we were almost 100% that if they knew he was a doctor, they would have pressed him into doctor service. So yeah, that's probably not good if they were to find out. And we'll find out. But he's like, he just doesn't want to be that. Like, I just can't be that guy that never turns off, never get to sleep, the life and death thing. And I think that's fair. Like, not everybody has got, just like it'd be unfair to ask somebody to carry 100 pounds of rocks because they just, they weigh 75 pounds and have the muscle mass. Like, some people just don't have the spiritual, the psyche, the mental wherewithal to be that kind of very driven, service oriented person. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not weakness per se, it's just they're not cut out for it any more than the 75 pound frail person is not cut out to dig ditches. So I don't have a problem with that. It just seems like there's going to be some kind of giant penalty for withholding this information from the Commonwealth.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I was surprised how snobby Yumiko was, because she's like, "Oh, you're staying in a dormitory, wouldn't you rather be rich?" And I'm like, you were sleeping in like a fucking container, a storage container, like at my introduction to you in the series. Come on, competent bow girl. Let's take down the snobbishness.
With the kleptomaniac former prisoner. So come on.
Yeah. Former client of yours, by the way, I think is what they intimate. So there's all kinds. You're crossing all kinds of lines. Give your brother a break. God damn it. But I don't know. Like I felt like this was a little heavy handed to like just do the snatch and grab, just to get like a political foothold over Yumiko. It's a bizarre choice. I thought it was artfully well done, because they're just like, it feels like he's on the verge of slipping up somehow, talking about this ordered system and how it makes sense, but it's unconventional. And then they grab him and haul him off, and you hear the loudspeakers being like, "That's the Commonwealth way."
I like that touch. That was
not subtle, but it's appropriate for the Walking Dead for sure.
Yeah. All right, next up, Maggie's herding some walkers into a pen. Negan congratulates her on a good day. And then Casey Jones asks if he's changed, but she says, I don't know. We can't know. How could you know?
I hope I can keep my promise before they're broken, as per the episode title.
When he asks, she says,
I do think
no,
that
I have my
there's a couple
crossed.
of promises that get broken right away, because doesn't she promise them that like she'll try to help him find her sister? But I guess they do find. It's just
the
promise
her.
isn't broken, it's fulfilled. Yeah, because I thought maybe that's like one of the promises broken, that like we'll find her presumably alive, and turns out she's dead. But I don't know.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. Like I said, a lot of promises made in this episode, but promises broken. You know, promises broken probably pertains to the conversation they're going to have here in a bit, about keeping your people safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably. I mean, this is the landmark. Gotcha. The landmark scene in this episode is that conversation between Negan and Maggie later on.
Yeah, for sure, sure.
We can talk about that when we get there. Yumiko finds Hornsby and asks where her brother is. Hornsby tells her, just give me some time. You know, you're trying to rush things. He admits that he is helping her for future favors, and she agrees to sit tight for a few hours.
Yeah, it's like, man, the difference between the mafia and like politics, it's very small.
Yeah,
it's very, very small. I guess the difference is you can technically say no to a politician, and you might just have your career ruined. They won't actually kill you, but
yeah, unless it's house cards.
This whole like there will come a day, and that day may never come. It felt very Godfather-y.
For sure, and I kind of like this element. You know, it adds a wrinkle to the Commonwealth, which could be pretty one-dimensional if it was just this authoritarian state. But yeah, having, I guess, independent actors in this thing is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Daryl spots some houses and a trail leading to them, and they find a man hiding, looking for food for his family. Daryl forces him to take them to his family, and Lee gets on the radio to report in, and Pope says, kill them all. It's either a fan of Metallica or he's out for blood.
I was about to say, just like a Metallica album.
Yeah. Not much to talk about in this scene, I guess. It's supposed to be like ominous, right? Like Leah's pointing the shotgun, gets the look on her face like she's going to murder this guy and his family, no problem.
She gets the smug, like, oh boy, get the murder again look, which not exactly, I think, expresses her character, but yeah.
No.
It's a kind of commercial type of cliffhanger.
Yep. And then we go back to Negan and Maggie. This is the scene that I was talking about, where Negan tries to sort of connect with Maggie over being a leader who failed to protect their people. Maggie is pretty much having none of it the whole time because he was a monster compared to everyone else she's known. Negan admits it, and he says he'd do things differently this time if he could. Instead, he would have killed everybody. And in this conversation, that's sort of a perverse sense of good in his mind. Like he could have killed them all and protected his own people, which is all really anybody's trying to do right now. And he says he's just trying to be honest with her, even though that sounds terrible to her.
And I don't know if it is honest. Do you think that after all he sat in that prison cell, after all the talks with Judith, after all, you know, him thinking about his ex or his wife and all that stuff, you think he really thinks the way to go was to murder everyone in Alexandria?
It's a good question.
Because the thing I kept on thinking about, like, it's because, you know, Maggie says, you know, you guys didn't have families and communities at the satellite outpost, but that was bullshit. It was even bullshit. You know, they had that's where they got Gracie. I thought that was a great callback to, like, you know, and why did they do that? It's because Negan was taking like more than what they thought they could give. But like the rest of the season 9 and 10 plot was Alexandria and the kingdom having to bend over backwards and share more than they had to come together as a community. So like Negan's wanting to do that at the end of a barrel of a gun or the business end of a bat. But is it really that different than what Alexandria and them had to do anyway? So like, yeah, I'm not saying that like Negan had things right with his slave camps and his, you know, sexual slaves, and obviously it was a horrifying regime.
Yeah,
but you know, they did have, I mean, that's the whole point. Like, even if they were within that regime, there were friends, there was families, people that depended on them, and people that looked to Negan as a leader to keep him safe, and him saying, I couldn't because these fucking Rick people are crazy. I thought it was pretty effective for what it was. I was just a little bit surprised that Negan didn't have any other answers.
So I think this is also Negan's way of saying you can't just cut the head off this beast. You have to take the entire thing out top to bottom, because if you go in and you just kill Pope, you've got a lot of people who are counting on Pope to keep them safe, and a lot of people who love Pope. You know, I mean, as bad as Negan was, there's a lot of people in his crew that loved him. So if you do that, you're just creating more misery for these people, and they're going to want you dead, just like Negan does, right? So I think this is a dual purpose conversation. It's like making him more relatable to Maggie and the stuff that he did more relatable to her, but also telling her, hey, here are the stakes for this upcoming battle.
It's just, it does seem also at odds with his like talk about the world's different now. There's fewer people, fewer things. Like, we'd have to do something different. But I think you're right. Like, this is to set up another dilemma. Like, there's already a dilemma that they're setting up with the Casey Jones here. But like Negan saying we got to wipe these people out versus Daryl that's going to be like, not this one.
Right. Yeah, with Leah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you're right about it. I was surprised in this scene also to hear that Negan knows Maggie's last name, and I barely do. Like, I can count on one hand the number of times it's been said in this series, and he would know it. Yeah.
I always think of it as Maggie Green, but you're right. They got married. It's Ree, and she took his name.
Or that he knew Glenn's last name even. That's crazy to me. But
right, the widow.
Yeah, right. Anyway, Zeke returns to his friends bearing lollipops and good news. He got all the treatment he needed. His cancer, I guess, is cured. Like, he seems like a new man. Like, he's had rounds of chemo and recovered. It might be 12 months later, 18 months later. I don't even know with how good he's feeling.
Dude, are they trying to tell us that they're like, these are morphine lollipops? Because there was something like when he's like, you've done all, it's like, friends, you've done all my work, and here I don't even have lollipops. Oh, wait a second. No, what? And he puts them in the camera, like crash zooms in on it. And he's like this way over the top, like, oh, I've got antibiotics and pain. He's like Mr. Burns in the Simpsons episode when they pump him full of shit and he goes out and he's like, I bring love. He's floating like that. Is this part of the Commonwealth way? Is there some kind of like chemical dependency / brainwashing almost that they're doing to people? Because Zeke wasn't Zeke, man.
All this Huxley shit. What's going on here?
Yeah. It's Brave New Commonwealth.
Brave New Commonwealth. Might be. I don't know. Yeah, he seems abnormally good. Like, if you were coughing and hacking and almost dying moments ago, nothing could really make you feel this good unless it was very powerful. And it certainly isn't going to cure your cancer in a day or an afternoon. So
yeah, and like Hornsby's whole effect is kind of like he's steepling his fingers, like, yes, ready to put you back to work. This. Like, yeah, why is he being nice to these people? It's everything's got to be for some kind of ulterior motive.
For sure. And I think it reveals it a little bit later. We'll get there. So yeah, Hornsby comes in, he assigns them new jobs and asks Zeke and Princess to follow him. And then we go back to Gabriel returning to Maggie's group in the woods and saying Meridian is still there, but he lies when he says that he didn't run into any of the Reapers. And I can't help but think he's moralizing here a little bit. The lying is probably the more offensive part, but
I also think, do you think that Maggie realized he's lying? Because I feel like Gabriel is actually a decent liar to people who are not his friends, but there was a slight hitch and hesitation, and I felt like the camera followed Maggie's gaze, and she kind of had like a look on her face. I could be wrong, but I thought maybe and I don't know if she's like, oh, Gabriel's betraying. It's more of like, I'm not getting the full story here.
I was furiously looking down at my laptop, typing that motherfucker notes. So I probably missed that look.
Fucking Morgalizer,
Right.
god damn it.
Eugene and Stephanie see the overprivileged couple being descended upon by walkers on their picnic. They're rushing to save them. And this entitled prick is pissed off that they interrupted the date. Eugene punches the little shit. And then there's some quote unquote Stephanie stuff here that, annoying. Redguard and Hornsby run in and ask, "Don't you know who that is?" And Eugene says, "How the fuck would I know who this is? You put me in a prison camp the day I arrived, you dipshits." He doesn't say any of that, but he should, because that's a stupid question. That is an incredibly stupid question.
Also, anytime you hear that, for the rare exception, you hear that, "Don't you know who that is?" It's almost always tyranny, right?
Right.
Some kind of George Orwell Animal Farm.
Unless it's Mr. Rogers. Unless you run up and punch Mr. Rogers and they say, "Don't you know who that is?"
I was thinking, like, if someone's so beloved and it's so out of character for you to attack them that you're like, you're gonna have a problem with everybody, but you're the Green Goblin, you attacked Spider-Man, and now all New York is descending on you. Like, there's the 1 out of 100 positive indication of, "Don't you know who this is, you dumb fuck?" But most of the time, it's a symbol of like, this is some kind of fucking tyranny. This is some kind of unequal oppression system.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is still got to be a wheel within a wheel, because Hornsby comes. If the plan was for you guys to save him, like, why don't you let him know? Why are you just trying to engineer a situation? And also, Eugene did do this, and this little shit, it wasn't good enough for him. So like, fuck this. I guess this guy's name is Sebastian. Fuck this guy. Deep and hard in the most sensitive place in the soul, and let him get eaten by a walker. Can we get this done?
For me by Amazon's X-ray feature, because I happened to be mousing over the window at a certain point in an earlier scene where he was walking by, and it said Sebastian Milton, and I was like, oh well, okay, I know who Pamela Milton is, and I figure there's probably only one Milton in town, but
middle name Poindexter, turns out.
Right.
Did X-ray spoil you on that?
No, I did not. I forgot all about him.
Yeah.
So the Stephanie stuff, the quote unquote Stephanie stuff happening in this scene really annoyed me. Boy, they make her as helpless as the day is long.
She did kill somebody though. I mean,
but she's tugging on Eugene's sleeve the whole time. Eugene. Oh, there's a walker approaching that woman. Eugene, I need your help. How fucking helpless are you? Come on.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know what Hornsby's up to, because this all feels like it all feels like it's happening the way he wants it to happen, because what he wants is Eugene to be in desperate enough situation to unilaterally reveal the location of Alexandria. But to what end? Like, I don't know why the Commonwealth would destroy them. I can see why the Commonwealth would like round them all up and use them for like fucking labor. Maybe that's what they're just going to be round up and labor camped, indentured servitude.
Does anybody have any skills left in Alexandria? I mean, Boston Rob is the only one I could even see as having a skill, but he's probably
still alive, and he's got some skills. And Eugene, but you're right.
Is he still alive? We haven't seen him in.
I don't. Yeah,
15
I thought
episodes?
we saw him and his girlfriend like in one of the bonus episodes, so he's still around. But
yeah, okay, yeah,
maybe he's off shooting another series like Lauren Cohen was.
Could be. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's getting like in Marvel shape for the movies or something. Maybe they cast him.
Marvel jacked.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the Eternals too.
Sure. It might take 2 years to get him jacked. I don't know. All right. Yumiko shows up for her meeting with Pamela Milton. She sits, she waits, and the receptionist chats with her for a bit. Then she gets a call saying that she has to reschedule the meeting because someone attacked her son. Which now we connect the dots here with Eugene.
Obviously. And the other thing we connect the dots, if you're hip to this decoy Stephanie theory, is that this receptionist is the quote unquote real Stephanie.
Okay.
She's the one that went down and got the rocky road for the state department. She is the actor who actually was on the horn with Eugene all last season.
Does this make any sense? How would she be on the radio? Why would she be on the radio?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know why you do the subterfuge. I don't know, other than like you don't want someone who.
Well, it's not about doing the subterfuge. It's about her position is very obviously the personal assistant of Pamela Milton. She's a very important person. Why would she be on manning a radio station? Like, scanning the frequencies. No.
Maybe she got, I feel like it's going to be some variation if she was doing, because like that's still community property, and maybe she was abusing it.
Or maybe they heard Eugene long before they responded, and she got placed there to talk to him.
Like pushed into it, yeah, I guess. But and then like she got to make sure that she doesn't get an undue attachment and mess up the plan. They do a decoy. The problem I have is like I'm kind of surprised that Eugene hasn't detected that there's something wrong. Like they talked for hours and hours and had like this kind of like, you know, inside jokes probably, and
they had nicknames. Not Doodlebug, but you know.
Although I guess if the decoy Stephanie was just sitting in the same room the whole time this was happening, I just don't know whether like this is a natural relationship that Stephanie and Eugene got into. They got co-opted by Hornsby once he found out and threatened and bullied and cajoled Stephanie into it. Or if this was a manufactured, like this is what they do. Like these are the sirens on the shore side. Like, you know, you got cute ladies hanging out on ham radios, trying to get sweaty Radio Shack nerds to fall in love with them. And then you just reel them in. You just crash that ship on the shore, turn them all to pigs. Isn't that how it went? I can't remember the siren. Yeah. Anyway,
the latter seems more likely given what her job is. So
gotcha. All
right, Eugene rots in a cell, and then Hornsby enters and tells Eugene that the price is much higher now for his freedom. The price is going to be the name of his town and its location. And Eugene is reluctant, but I think he eventually cracks when he thinks about the safety that they could provide to Alexandria. I don't know. Both his own fate and Alexandria's. He's weighing those in the balance here.
Yeah, he wants a guarantee. He's like, "Well, you know, Eugene, look how many chances we've given you. Look how we've treated you." But like, that's the thing. Like, you've boiled the frog a little too fast. Like, even if I'm an idiot like Eugene, I think I could throw a couple things back into your face about this being no bueno. But yeah, it's weird. It just feels like there's just some aspects of the storyline that's dragging its feet, and some of them that's like a step or two ahead of where I think they should be if everything was firing on all cylinders. But I think it's mostly working.
Yeah, I agree. Then Maggie and crew and walkers shamble toward an office or a warehouse of some kind. They tear down the barricades, and then they herd the walkers inside into their growing group of walkers. There's a lot of them. Apparently that whole office building, like nobody made it out of there. How many?
They got boarded up in the beginning of the pandemic, and they just been there waiting to bust out, man.
Right? Must be.
This scene gave me the idea that like herding zombies is like an endurance sport. Can you imagine how uncomfortable it is to wear that mask, be hunched over, have this shambling gait that's not too fast, and if you make a single mistake, you die? It's like white knuckle stuff like a Le Mans race or an Indy 500 where you're just turning left at 250 miles an hour for 2.5 hours. And if you're fractionally off, you're braking, you're turning, you're going to die. Like, my God, the discipline that it would take to do that. I don't got it.
We don't give him enough credit.
I would start cutting corners in 15 minutes and I'd been eaten in 20.
Yeah, for sure. I get the impression that, you know, they can break off of the main group like this because there are still others herding, right? 2 of them break off and pull the boards off the door. I think the others are standing back herding the walkers still.
And it did feel like there's a technique to it. Like you do one last shamble, stagger left, and then you kind of like break, you know, like Naruto run, break, and zombies can't see Naruto. That's their condition not to see the ninja magic. Maybe, but there's just like, but again, there's a technique. Manifestly, it's some finesse and technique to it, and I thought that's cool.
It was. All right, Daryl and Leah follow this man to his hideout where his sick wife and son are, and Leah changes her mind about killing him. She seemed pretty resolute earlier, but tells him to take his son and run. They do, and the wife thanks him, saying, "Yeah, I'm ready to die." Leah can't shoot her, though. Can't even shoot the people who are asking for it at this point. And Daryl does. Leah says she'll tell Pope that Daryl killed them all. And Daryl's about to tell Leah something, but she gets a call on the radio and they have to leave. A lot of delay tactics here. I half expected Hornsby to jump in this scene and say, like black bag Leah. And
I need you to wait for another day until the favor is ripe. Yeah. Like, come on. Like, can't you guys walk and talk? Can we not get Aaron Sorkin in this bitch to write this scene? We're going to have to wait till next episode because you got to walk. Oh my God. This show sometimes.
Right.
But I liked it, and I actually really liked the fact that the lady like throws it on God that like, oh, I was just praying, like, because that like just goes right into like Leah's worldview, right? That like they were guided by God to do this thing, and I don't know how she squares like disobeying Pope with like keeping the kid and the dad alive, but
the same way that Gabriel squares lying to Maggie about it.
I guess
they both do that in this episode.
Because Maggie set someone on fire. Although I guess there are, if you really are charitable, a lot of, like Maggie sacrificed one of her own to the zombie. Pope, for a perceived transgression against a group. Pope sacrificed one of his own to the burn pile for the same reason. They've been, because I don't know how successful all these layers have worked, but some of them have. But yeah, I don't know why she can't. I don't know why she can't bring herself to kill the woman. Maybe it's too painful because she was in a position like that, with her adopted child, and she can see. I will say that like people are saying that they don't think Leah killed, Casey Jones' sister. Probably this scene's good ammunition. Maybe not the he versus she, since they're wearing masks and wearing body armor and stuff. But like, it doesn't seem like she would kill a child, it doesn't seem like, it seems like she wouldn't be the one that would just gung-ho and do it the way Pope or a Carver probably would.
Yeah, it's tough because they've changed who the Reapers are in these last two episodes. They've gone from mindless masked killing machines to like some religious cult that apparently has divisions inside of it, and I don't know, they're trying to layer in like some humanity into these Reapers, but at the same time they've lost everything that made them Reapers beforehand. So I don't know, we'll see. Maybe that's just Daryl's influence on Leah. It's working. And the final scene is Maggie's crew has gathered a big herd and they're walking along, and then Casey Jones looks over and recognizes, I assume, his sister is one of the walkers, and Maggie holds his hand as they shamble on. I'm surprised the show didn't have him look over to Maggie and say, Maggie, that's my sister. That's my sister. Don't tell the walkers. That's my sister. Like, just so the audience would get it. Like, I got it, but
no,
this seems like a very subtle Walking Dead move.
Yeah, they trusted us not to, and Casey Jones break down crying in the herd. It's and then they pan out and they got a decent sized herd all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see them take this to the gates of the Reapers and see what happens. It looks like the next episode, I looked at the teaser. It looks like there's going to be kind of like maybe Night of the Living Dead Romero homage, because the zombies come to the gates and it's kind of reminiscent of which was the Night of the Dead mall episode. Was that Day of the Dead?
Dawn of the Dead. Yeah,
Dawn of the Dead. And then it looks like maybe the walls are starting to finally fall during the night at Alexandria, and they're actually repelling zombie arms from boarded up windows. It's got some. It wouldn't surprise me if they gave Nicotero it again too, so he can I want to do an all Romero all the time episode. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of answers. I think it's going to be a lot of like parallel action that leads up to a cliffhanger that hopefully propels us into next season. And maybe honestly, if they break the back of the Reapers, I'll be ecstatic, because
same here.
I want them to ditch one of these plot lines. And I think it's the Commonwealth has legs, the Reapers don't.
Yeah.
So
easily.
Leah might have legs, but the Reapers as a whole, no, they need to get out.
All right. Well, that's it for the episode.
Yeah, if you'd like to give us feedback, watchingdead@baldmove.com. Of course, we open up our mailbag every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/baldmove to do the feedback show live. We then take that recording and release it as a podcast later if you don't want to watch live. But hey, if you got nothing going on Wednesday, it'll be a fun time. Also, this Sunday at 9 o'clock, right around the time the episode drops, we drop our full coverage of the podcast every Sunday. And we also are doing date and time with our YouTube video too. So if you'd rather watch our video coverage on YouTube, youtube.com/baldmove, whichever's convenient, podcast or video form. That happens Sunday, again, 9 p.m. Eastern, the same time that the show drops on AMC. So, watching dead at baldmove.com for feedback. Can't wait to see what you guys think and any predictions you got for the finale episode. Only one episode left. We'll see you back then. Until then, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Jim.
See ya.